Hey everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome to Make It Monday. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this adorable little picnic basket. You know, with spring coming up, there's lots of outings, especially showers. It seems like bridal and baby showers are just abundant in the spring for some reason, and I thought this would make a great little table favor. Also could be a place card setting if you added a tag. So let me show you how you can make this. You're going to start with a piece of 6x6 cardstock, and I used Crumb Cake. And I went ahead and I used my chocolate chip ink and a sponge, and I have already gone around all the edges and sponged some color just to kind of add some depth to this project. From that same sheet of paper, I used the scraps, and these are 1/2 inch by 6, and I used my corner rounder to corner round the ends. Now it's not going to be a really clean round. You're going to use your scissors a little bit, but I've never seen a wicker basket that has perfectly even rods or reeds. And then what I did is I lined them up, put two of them together, and I used my handheld 1/16 inch punch to go ahead and make holes on either sides where we're going to put the handles. Okay, I also sponged those as well, you may notice. Okay, so back to our 6x6, you're going to use your Stampin Trimmer and of course the scoring blade, and I'm going to score it upside down so that my sponge side is on the back. You're going to score at 2 inches and then 4 inches, and then you're going to turn it and do the exact same thing on the other side, 2 and 4. So when it's done, it's going to look like a checkerboard. So you're going to have 9 equal squares. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come in with your scissors. These are my paper snips. I hope you can see this in the video, but this crease right here, I am going to cut it to the first line, and I'm going to do the same thing here, cut it to the first line, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so that when we're done, this is what we have so far. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we are going to cut up the center of these outside tabs. So just going to cut them in half. So we're going to take that one piece and make it into 2 pieces. Okay, we're going to leave the center one the same. I'm not going to cut that one, and cut up the center. And you can see I'm not cutting very straight, and it's going to be okay. All right, so now this is what we have. The 2 centers are full, and we've taken the outside and cut them into 2 additional panels. All right, the next thing we're going to do, let me move the trimmer, is we are going to create this onto a diamond shape. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've used my grid paper as a guide, and I've lined this up to find the center. And I made a little pen mark here. I'm going to make a little pen mark here. And then I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut from here to the corner. Here to the corner. Okay, so now we have a little triangle in the center. All right, then I'm going to do the same thing here. From here to the corner. From here to the corner. The next thing I did is I went ahead and used my my chocolate chip ink pad and my sponge, and I went ahead and I sponged these inside layers as well. Because when it's folded together, I wanted to make it look like it was layered, give it some depth. All right, so here we have it now all sponged. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim off a little bit from what I'm going to call the second and the third little flaps. So these 2 right here. And you're going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. Now, you can eyeball this or you can use your paper trimmer. I'm going to show you how I use my paper trimmer. I don't know if you can see this or not. There are measurements to the right hand side as well as the left hand side. The first line is 1/4 inch, and then it's 1/2, and then 3/4 and an inch. So obviously if I need 1/4 inch, it's going to be this little thin line right about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this one out of the way because it's this one that I want to cut. And I am just going to put my paper trimmer right here and cut that little tiny bit off. Again, you can do this with your scissors if you find that easier. I'm folding this part back, and I'm lining this one up now. I want to make sure you can see me. Here, bringing my blade down, and I'm trimming. Okay, you're going to do the same thing on both sides. All right, so now this is what we have. You can see the insides are slightly shorter than the outsides. And now we're just going to put it together. I found the easiest way was to put adhesive on these tabs before I started. Oh, I guess I failed to tell you that what you're going to need to do is come in here with your bone folder. There is no score line here. Remember, this is the one that we cut by hand, but the rest are score lines. Just so that the basket is going to be nice and crisp and it'll stand up nicely. Here we go. So these two are going to come together. Okay, and then the next two are going to be kind of like this, like a triangle. And then last but not least, you're going to want to put adhesive up here inside the center. And that's going to come up here like so. Now I realize they're sticking up. We're just going to trim those. I'm not using a lot of adhesive right now, just for the sake of time. And then from the inside, I am going to trim off the little points. I'm going to hide that in a minute. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're putting this end together, and we're going to bring up the little points like so. And then some adhesive inside the triangle. That's going to come up here like this. All right, and then we're going to trim it. I then punched two 1-inch circles from the circle punch, and I sponged the edges as well. And I want you to go ahead and fold these in half. And you're going to put adhesive down generously inside of here. And these are going to hide any of our little imperfections at the top. And then here's my other side. Remember those two handles? We're going to need holes so the handles can get attached. And I found the best place is on the first pleat that's here. Oh, about a 1/4 inch. And then on the second plate here. And you're going to do that on both sides. Okay? And then we're going to use 4 neutrals brads. I used mine in Crumb Cake just so that it matched. You can obviously use the metallic ones. Those will be really, really cute too. Give it a little bit more of an aged hinge look. And I'm going to put this in here. And then one's going to go here. And I'm going to open up the prongs to the inside. And I'm going to put the other one here. And this is going to go across to this side. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There you go. We are all done. And I love the fact that these brads make these little handles move. Put a little bit of shredded paper inside there, and you can fill this with candies. All kinds of really cute things that would make a great party favor. I hope that you've enjoyed this project, and I look forward to seeing you next week for Make It Monday.